For college students, registering to vote might seem like an elusive, complicated task. According to the United States Census Bureau, older Americans are generally voting at higher rates than younger Americans. In 2016, this was once again the case, as citizens 65 years and older reported higher turnout at 70.9% than 18 to 29-year-olds at 46.1%. That's a lot of people giving up their democratic right to vote in our society. It is the purpose of our politicians to work on behalf of the people, but it is also up to the people to hold them accountable to vote for socially just policies. Being well-versed in civic knowledge is how we do that. Think about it. Our world is full of inequalities, oppression, and corruption. Especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, the 2020 presidential election, and the Black Lives Matter movement, voting is one of the most important aspects to a democratic system because it instills accountability and reinforces the fact that the people, not politicians, control what happens to our country. We have the power to vote out bigotry and vote in social justice, which is what this country is all about. College students, you must register to vote and vote during elections. It's the only way to preserve our democracy and dismantle racial oppression. In this video, we will show you how to register to vote, how to vote in person, and how to vote remotely. Being an active member in politics is crucial in maintaining our democracy. Let's get started on unpacking what we all need to know in order to do our part as United States citizens. First, you'll need to go to the Illinois Online Voter Registration website. You just put in your first and last name, address, your birthday, and then press submit to find out if you're registered to vote or not. If you find out that you're already registered to vote, that's great. Later on in this video, we will tell you where and how to vote in this upcoming election. If you're not registered to vote, let's start breaking down the steps you need to take to get there. One of the most accessible ways you can register to vote is online registration. You can register online through a link accessed on our website's voter registration page. In order to register online, you'll need to be ready to provide your name, address, social security number, and birthday. It's important to note that you'll need to re-register if you've moved your permanent address since the last time you voted. Also, you can only register online if you have an Illinois driver's license. If you don't have an Illinois driver's license and you are, for example, a college student from out of state, you can simply fill out this form, but you'll need to print it out and mail it in with a valid form of ID. Whether you choose online or by mail, you need to register by October 18th to vote in the upcoming election. Thankfully, even if you've missed that deadline, you can still register in person by going to what is known as a grace period location in your county. There is a link to these locations on our website. Anyone can vote by mail, unless it's both your first time voting and you registered by mail. You can request to vote by mail, also known as asking for an absentee ballot, by clicking the link on the screen or in the description below. You will need to fill out the form and mail it to the address listed to request your absentee ballot. The deadline for requesting an absentee ballot is October 29th. This means the clerical office must have your request by this date in order to ensure you get your absentee ballot. If you fill it out sooner, you'll have more time to think over your decisions on who to vote for. This ballot needs to be mailed back so that it is received before November 3rd. The voting deadline section on our website lists all of these important dates. Whether you want to ensure politicians implement the fair tax to help address wealth inequalities, vote out Trump, or vote for local, socially just officials, you'll need to be registered to vote to do it. Remember, registering to vote is the first step in being an actively anti-racist member of our society. Through the act of voting, we can remove bigoted officials from office and replace them with social justice advocates. College students need to make sure their voices are heard regarding these important political issues. If you need to register to vote in person, you'll need to bring 2 forms of verified ID with you and a piece of official mail with your name and permanent address on it. The acceptable forms of ID in the state of Illinois are a passport or military ID, a driver's license or state ID card, a college, university, school, or work ID, vehicle registration card lease, a mortgage or a deed to a home, a credit or debit card, a Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid insurance card, civic, union, or professional membership card, Link, Public Aid, or Department of Human Services card, or an Illinois FOID card. Acceptable examples of first-class mail addressed to the voter that can be used as ID are a bill, transcript, or report card from school, a bank statement, pay stub, or pension statement, a utility, medical, or insurance bill, or official mail from any government agency. If you're interested in voting in person, you can vote early from September 22nd through November 2nd. The hours of operation vary by location. On our website's Polling Locations tab, you can find a polling location by entering your zip code. Additionally, if you plan to vote in person on November 3rd, the polling locations will be open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you are already registered to vote, the only ID you need to bring is your voter ID. but make sure to bring 2 forms of the ID discussed earlier, just in case. Before you vote, you can look at a sample ballot on your County Election Authority website. You don't have to put a vote in for every single category on the ballot in order for it to count, but you should do some research on the candidates before casting your votes. Remember, the government is there to serve the people. The more frequently people demand higher standards from their elected officials, the more we can expect to see real, meaningful change occur in politics. Dismantling racial oppression starts by exercising your right to have a say in your government. It is of vital importance to vote because it ensures that democracy, society in which all people have a say in their government, continues to survive. Apathy in government means a loss of freedoms, choices, and eventually democracy itself. To be anti-racist, we must take it upon ourselves to vote out racist laws, systems, and officials. The only way to exact change in a true democracy is to vote and make sure your voice is heard. In the words of Ibram X. Kendi, after taking this grueling journey to the dirt road of anti-racism, humanity can come upon the clearing of a potential future, an anti-racist world in all its imperfect beauty. We know what a country full of racist policies looks like. College students need to register to vote and vote in elections so that we may start dismantling these oppressive systems. All U.S. citizens should be able to live in a loving, beautiful country without apathetic, racist policies. It is our goal that we have given you the tools you need to begin this necessary, socially just, and democratic process. We hope these tips and tools have been helpful as you register to vote, find polling locations, cast your ballots, and work towards becoming active members in our government.